All righty, guys. Happy Monday to everybody. Really proud of our kids for giving us the opportunity to be in this position. We've asked them to go 1-0 each and every week, and that's what they've done. And you add them up, and it puts us with the opportunity to be in a conference championship game, and we're looking forward to that opportunity. I know, obviously, a short week. This is the second short week in a row, so logistically very similar as far as practice and opportunities to be on the field. Probably a little bit different with the exception of you really trying to right now prepare for two teams. So we'll work Washington early this week and do a little Oregon prep at night from a staff standpoint. And hoping to gain some more information on exactly where the game is at. And hopefully crossing our fingers that, everybody's healthy up in Seattle and they have the opportunity to play. But we will be ready for both teams, both Washington and Oregon. Practice mostly Washington early in the week with some Oregon prep later in the week. I'll talk today about Washington like we're getting ready to play them on Friday night. Offensively, you can see that Coach Lake has definitely put an emphasis on running the ball up there. Sean McGrew, I think, has done a really nice job. It's nice to be able to see Sean get his turn. He's been behind some other kids that have been really good backs, and now it's his opportunity, and he's leading the way for them in their running attack. Dylan Morris, I think, has done a really nice job of managing the offense. This is an offense that doesn't make a lot of mistakes. They're +5 in turnovers right now, which has led to wins. They do a good job of being able to not make the critical errors that lose games. And then, I think Dylan's doing a great job of getting the ball to his big tight end, Cade Otton. You look at the numbers, and Cade's got double the receptions that any receiver has on the team. So, talented, not a kid, not only in our conference, but one of the best in the nation. Defensively up front, it's really maybe the first time this year that we're going to actually, have to really put an emphasis in game plan of defensive linemen in Tupelo. 7 sacks in 4 games. And you watch the tape, he's extremely explosive off the edge, and you have to know where he is at all times. He can alter a game. And so we're going to have to do a good job there, not only in game planning, but trying to simulate that type of pass rush off the edge. From the linebacker position, I'm a big fan of Ulo Fashio. 47 tackles, on the year in 4 games. He's averaging 12 tackles a game. He's everywhere. And then, obviously secondary wise, we know that Jimmy is a DB coach by trade. He's always put great kids out there that are fundamentally sound, very well coached. Just have been a big fan of Elijah Molden over the past couple of years. I mean, captain-like intangibles and just makes plays. There's a reason he's up for so many national awards. He makes plays. He reminds me of our guy Talanoa. I mean, they just show up and they're winners and they make the plays and win games. So it'll be a great challenge for us. Very good team and looking forward to the opportunity to compete. Injury wise, we had 2 kids in that game that did not play. Defensively, Britton Allen with a neck that is day to day. We'll see exactly where he's at this week. And then Dorian Hewitt was in concussion protocol last week. He's day to day, and we'll see where that goes to. And then, unfortunately, Vavai suffered a knee sprain late in the game, late in the fourth quarter of the UCLA game. We'll see where that goes to, but he did not do anything yesterday with us. We'll continue to be in rehab, and we'll monitor him through the week. I'll let you know exactly where that's at later in the week. With that, I'll take any questions that you got.
Okay, we'll start Ryan Young. Or I'm sorry, Jim Hill. I know I told you'd ask the first question. So, Jim, are you with us? There.
Yeah.
There you go, Jim. First question.
Okay, thanks. Coach, how are you today?
Man, great seeing you, buddy. How are you doing? I'm doing great. It's great seeing
Oh,
your face.
oh, good. Good to see you too. Coach, I'd like you to talk about how and where your team established this never give up attitude, because there were several times throughout the course of the season when things late in the game looked bleak, but somehow your team managed to hang in there and get the victory, which enabled you to get into the position that you're in today.
Yeah, Jim. I credit this bunch because they have experience. They went through some trials and tribulations last season as a young team that were getting their first opportunities to play, and I thought they grew as a team and started playing their best ball towards the end of the season, and they've carried that over to this year. 2020 has taught us a lot, and it's taught us how to deal with adversity and be able to roll with the punches and never give up. Just look for the next opportunity, and whether it's these kids that got told to go home on March 15th and didn't get to come back till July 6th, and then prepared each and every day from July, not knowing whether we were going to have a season or not. They're playing for the love of the game and playing for the love of each other. And you can see it. It's evident. It's evident on the field. It's evident in the locker room. And it's been one of my most fun years because of it. Just to see how much fun they're having together. But I think a lot of the things that we've been through, both last season as growth and this season with the adversity in the off season, has really grown us as a team and has molded us together and hardened us. And so there's no situation that we don't think we can overcome.
Well, thanks, Coach, and have some more fun this week.
Thanks, Jim. Really appreciate it. Great seeing you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go to Ryan Young. Sorry about that, Ryan.
No problem. Clay, what have you been told about when a final decision will be made on who you are playing, and what are your feelings about being put in that situation where you may not know until late in the week?
Obviously 2020 has been a different year, and we've taken the approach, Ryan, that anytime, any place, anywhere, anyone, and you roll with it because you don't know if you'll have we've seen other games in league and across the nation that have been changed, so it's been part of it. Like I told the team, nobody's going to feel sorry for us. We've got to prepare and do our job, and that's the approach that we've taken. As far as the information coming back, I know we're all early testing this week with PCRs, and we should be able to get that information back hopefully today on both teams to see just where everybody's at and see the reality of the situation. So I'm hoping that we have better information by this afternoon and going into tomorrow. But like I said, our staff is preparing for two teams because in today's time, you don't know what's going to happen. At least the other team. Cal, UCLA early in the season that came in late in the week. So you roll with the punches, and like our kids have always said, just put the ball down, coach. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 9 a.m. It doesn't matter if it's a Friday, a Sunday. It doesn't matter who's it's against. We just want the next opportunity, and this next opportunity just happens to be a championship game, and we're proud to be here. And
you mentioned Vi obviously had a huge game for you on Saturday. What led to the decision to really ride him as a true lead back? And was Marquis step full strength?
Yeah, Vavai, I thought really got hot in that game. We had gone into the game with deciding that we would go 29-7 for the majority of it. And Vavai really got hot and really was feeling it. You could see. So we rode him. I thought when Stephen came in, went unseen. Stephen made some unbelievable protection pickups for us, especially on third down pressures. Did a really nice job in some of the bigger plays of the game, to be honest with you. So both those two kids had a big role for us. Vavai got the numbers, but Stephen really was able to get some of the hidden success in pass pro. With Vavai possibly being out, I even met with Marquise yesterday and said, hey, this is going to be an unbelievable opportunity if Vavai can't go. And you have to take the approach that each opportunity of being that style of back, that physical style of back is we're going to need in this game, So it's a great opportunity for him and Keenan Kristen and Steven to help us go win a championship if Vi can't go.
Adam Grossbart.
Clay, other conferences have set up contingencies where if, the conference championship game is canceled, then the team with the highest CFP ranking is named the conference champion. If the opponent has to change, especially on late notice by Friday, do you feel like, given you are the only undefeated team in the Pac-12, there should be consideration for that contingency?
I'm a chain of command guy. So I control what I can control, which is, tell me where to play and tell me who it is. And it doesn't matter what time. That's the approach we took coming into this season. So whatever's determined by Larry in the conference, that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to do. And we're just looking, like I said, we're just looking forward to the next opportunity. We'll be ready either way, whether it's Washington, whether it's Oregon, whether it's whoever. We'll be prepared. And it'll be daylight till dark. It'll be a grind, but that's what happens on championship week while it's signing week also. So it's we could sleep after this week and get some rest, but this week is championship week, and let's act like champions and get our job done. So we control what we control, Adam. I hope that answers it. If they ask us to play, we're going out and play.
And just back to that final drive on Saturday, what did those two checkdowns tell you about the confidence level that Keaton is playing with at this stage in his career, especially when a field goal would have been sufficient to take the lead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've always said make the most of each opportunity, and if people are going to play us in man, we're going to take advantage of it. And I go back and think about that, and great players, I think, makes the most of when they see advantage coverages. And, for Keaton to have the confidence and in that and to check to a vertical route with Tyler Vaughn's down the right boundary speaks volumes to what he does. And then you look at that, actually calling a run to set to the left to be able to set it up in the middle, but him seeing one-on-one and tagging a vert with it to Amon-Ra. I mean, what confidence level. And you look back and to be up, that amount at the end rather than them being able to get a field goal, drive it right back down and maybe have a chance at a long field goal really helped. I mean, they had to throw a Hail Mary. So, I was proud of our kids and proud of him, especially for what he's done in the fourth quarter. I saw some stat that, he's sitting here 13 touchdowns to 0 interceptions in the fourth quarter. And it was a big point of emphasis of us going to the game. If you go back and look at UCLA in the fourth quarter, they were a dominant team all year in the fourth. And that was a big priority for us, was to finish. And we ended up finishing in the fourth 20-3. 20 points to their 3 points, and it really was the difference in the game. So the way our quarterback performs down the stretch has been a big key to our success this year.
Okay, we'll go to Ryan Karchi. We're going to do a few more questions here, and we're going to have Amon and Graham join us shortly.
Good morning, Clay. I know you said you're going to spend the nights sort of looking at Oregon, but could you give us a little bit more insight into how much you actually can even get into Oregon? Like, are you just sort of lightly reviewing what they've done this season? Are you creating game plans as if kind of in the same situation that you're in with Washington, or how do you balance that?
Yeah. Not to go and give strategic information away, but we really spent yesterday, Brian, working on Washington specifically and focusing on Washington, and spent the day and night as well as some of our walkthroughs yesterday afternoon with the team, just Washington. That will be the same today for our football team. We'll institute first and second down game plan today with them. Tonight we will be starting looking at Oregon a little bit as a staff after this practice. and be able to do things that are similar. Usually when you're playing teams, they're usually similar to maybe another team that you've played earlier, and some of the thoughts that have come, maybe certain schemes or certain personnel groupings, certain defensive fronts, maybe certain coverages that you've seen. And like we've done all year, I don't think we're going to trick anybody. We're going to just do what we do. We came into this year saying, hey, let's be an execution-based offense, defense, and special teams. Let's not try to make the kids overthink things. Let's be good at what we do, and play fast and aggressive. So, we'll get to some of the Oregon things later tonight, going into to tomorrow, and prepare for a game plan for it. And based on information that we get back as we go through the week, there'll have to be some reps on that, as we go later in the week on the grass with the kids.
Do you feel like, obviously you guys are preparing for two teams, but Oregon and Washington are just preparing for you? Do you feel like that other team in this matchup just has an inherent advantage because they are just preparing for you all week?
We control what we control, and that's us. Yeah, we got 5 days to prepare for two teams, and I'll let them worry about them. And sometimes it falls your way, and sometimes it doesn't. I remember the last time we were here, I believe, if you remember, we played Stanford, right? And I think we were coming off a bye week when Stanford had a short week. And sometimes you get a little bit of an advantage, and sometimes you don't. It is what it is. It's ball. That's what happens with scheduling, especially in this year. And so you roll with the punches. I mean, again, we're just happy to be in this opportunity, and we're going to make the most of it. We'll go out there and have a good plan and be able to do what we do and execute that plan effectively, because we're going to do the things that we do well.
Okay, we'll do two more questions, one from Antonio, and then we'll follow that with James from the Oregonian. So Antonio.
Clay, I know both of these schools have new offensive coordinators, but does having played them last year help at all in prep this week?
Yeah, I think it probably helps the most, Antonio, in just personnel matchups, just being able to know the kids. And you got a full season right now of film. You got 4 games on Washington. You get to at least know schematically what they are. The personnel matchups. You're able to game plan off of it. It's, we drew some bad luck early in the season, having our first 2 games where you really didn't have tape and know exactly schematically what was going to happen. But based on, being able to have games, both Washington and Oregon, and know the personnel matchups is an advantage, and helps you game plan. So we're in a lot better situation this week than probably coming into the season, where you didn't know quite, what an Arizona State team or an Arizona team were going to do defensively.
And final question before we go to Coach Harrell and Amon-Ra, we'll go to James from the Oregonian.
Clay, I know you said you're preparing accordingly. Do you have reason to believe that you're going to know more information on Washington within the next 24 hours, or is this just kind of hope? Because no team, yourselves included, who's had to cancel a game due to COVID-related issues has been able to play the following Friday or Saturday. So do you believe that either that you really believe there's going to be results from Washington that you're going to be aware of, and two, that you believe there should be that there's an integrity to this if they are able to play, because no team, yourselves included, been able to do that. So there's a question of how do all these teams get impacted one way, and then they may or may not be impacted in the same way.
James, we have, we only missed 1 week, if you recall. So I know some teams have been 2 weeks, but if you go back to our situation, it was only 1 week, and it's really, how many were positive, how many contact tracings happened, how many people are out. And, so that's the biggest thing, is if you can shut it off and shut it down quickly, it does give you the opportunity possibly to come back the next week. We were an example of that. We immediately addressed the issue, shut it down, did the things that were necessary to eliminate eliminate a lot of the spread that can happen with this virus. And we were able to come back the following week. So that does give you hope. Now, the reality is, how many are still out there for Washington and where exactly they're at. And I think we'll gain that throughout the week. But just having lived through the process, I know that if you address it immediately, and I believe Washington had, that there is reason for hope. And we'll see. And I hope they do. Their kids have worked excessively hard, and they sit there with one loss in the conference, and we'll see if they get the opportunity to play in the championship game. And if not, then we'll go play a good Oregon team and get to play them on Friday night.
Okay, Clay, thank you for joining us. We kept you a little bit longer today, but appreciate that. And we'll see you again in 2 days.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, and we have with us now Coach Harrell, our offensive coordinator, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. We will just take questions, so please raise your hand and I'll call on you. Questions for either of them. I'll let you line up for questions. Okay, we'll start with Ryan Karchi.
Hey, Graham, we asked Clay about this too, but can you tell us a little bit about the challenges involved when you're game planning for two teams at the start of a week?
Sure, it definitely makes things difficult. It's just a situation we're in, unfortunately. And, I think that you just got to do your best. And like we've talked about all along, the thing about it, the good thing for us is a lot of times, especially offensively, we feel like we kind of just do what we do. And it still helps the game plan and have a plan going in and knowing what you're going to attack. But, worst case scenario, I think that we have an identity and we have a base offense that we can go run and expect to execute against anyone. And so, from that standpoint, I feel like offensively, at least gives you a chance when you're in kind of a situation like this. But there is some disadvantage, obviously, to not knowing who your opponent is in 3 days and having to prepare for two teams. But again, we expect to execute anytime we go on the football field. We expect to go do what we do and do it at a high level. And that's kind of our philosophy anyway. And so, but there's some challenges that come with it. But hopefully at the end of the day, like I said, our guys know what we do. And if we just have to go there with a very generic game plan and execute, we'll be able to do it.
Given the stakes involved, do you feel like there's a point at which in this week that you guys need to know one way or the other who that team is?
It'd be helpful. But, yeah, I think that's out of our control. And that's unfortunate, and it's a weird situation. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely, obviously, it would be extremely helpful to know exactly who you're going to play and then what you're going to get. But I guess it's 2020. I don't know.
Ryan Young.
Graham, Clay told us that the plan going in was to ride Vavai and Steven. Was that a conscious decision to go away from the four-way split or three-way split and give one guy a chance to get hot and get going in the backfield?
I think that Vavai's obviously a very good player that we like a lot, and he does everything well. Like I've said since the beginning, he's a consistent guy that knows how to do everything and does everything at a high level. And so he's a guy we trust and that plays, that's a really good football player. And so to have him be as successful as he was big for us. And like I said, I think that's, if you got someone playing at a high level, we can keep them in and roll with them. And it gives that guy a chance to kind of get in a rhythm. And that's what Vi did, and really get a chance to be successful the other day.
And a lot was made about Keaton checking into those last two pass plays. At what point in his development did he get that kind of full latitude to make those changes at the line and call his own plays there, so to speak?
He's had that since day one. That's part of this offense is you got the freedom to call anything you want from goal line to goal line. You just got to go do it. And, especially after we hit the big return, I knew there was a chance that they might play man because they had given us a couple of snaps of it throughout the game. And so going onto the field, I told him to tell him, like, hey, if you get man coverage, go after it. I don't know if they will play us man, but if they do, check a fade and let's take advantage of the matchups. And, on that first one, obviously he got man coverage and checked it to TV. And then on the second one, again, got man coverage and checked it to Amon-Ra. And we do pack and go. We work on slants and fades every single day. And we expect to complete the ball when we throw it down the field like that. And I think that it's a higher percentage throw for us than most just because we work on it so much and put so much emphasis on it. So it's something we're confident in, something we have a lot of reps in, something we do all the time. And so if we don't get a ton of opportunities to get one high press man coverage, but when we do, we got to make the most of it. And like I said, Keaton's had the freedom to do that since the first time he set foot on the football field. I think that a lot of it just has to do with being confident enough to do it and getting more and more comfortable in the offense. And obviously he's doing that. And so, he's seeing things clearly. He's getting confident. And, at the beginning of the season, I think a lot of y'all asked me, like, what will be kind of Keaton's next step? And I think you'll see him do some stuff like that, like, see things a little more clearly and get us into good plays. And he did a good job the other night.
Adam Grossberg.
Graham, when do you think it was that Keaton did hit that confidence level to feel comfortable making those checkdowns, especially in that type of situation?
He did some last year, to be honest with you. Like against, he threw a touchdown against Notre Dame to Tyler on when he checked we had a run play called. We were on the 5 going in, and he checked a fade to Tyler and threw a touchdown on it. I think the biggest difference is just the confidence he has to do it now. I mean, last year he would check a fade and throw it, and he might throw a touchdown or something. Then he'd come off the sideline and ask, like, hey, was that a good idea? And it's like, well, you threw a touchdown, so it was obviously a pretty good idea, And so, I think that there's more. I think he has more confidence and more assurance. And I can remember last year also he checked a fade, I think to Amon-Ra, some down in our place. I forget who we were playing. And he threw like 10 yards out of the end zone, a horrible throw. And he's like, well, I just wasn't sure if I should check the fade or not. It's like, if you check it, just go do it. And I think that's the biggest difference is, I think at times he knew he could do it last year and he saw it and occasionally would do it, but kind of did it with hesitation. The other night when he checked that fade to Amon-Ra in particular, there was never any doubt. He threw that ball with total confidence. There was never like a hesitation in that throw. And you see when you have that freedom and you play and attack him with the confidence that he did, most of the time you're going to be right, and that's what I try to emphasize those quarterbacks is, I call plays that I think are going to work, but if you see something and you call it, you usually know it's going to, you have a lot more confidence because you're like, oh, this is about to work, and so that's, it doesn't really matter what plays I like. And I try to tell Keaton all the time is let me know what you like and we'll get into those plays. Because when that quarterback believes in it, when that quarterback has confidence in it, the play is usually going to work. And so when you check something, like I said, if you check it with confidence and you're like, man, I got it, and you go after it, the play normally works because the quarterback and the receiver are doing it with a ton of confidence and expecting it to work. And so that's where I think the biggest difference is last year he saw it sometimes and even checked it sometimes. He just kind of did it with hesitation, wanting to be like, oh, I hope I'm right. Where now I think it's just more of a, oh, yeah, I got this. Let's go after it,
Amon-Ra, just as a receiver, like what's going through your head as you're hearing those checkdowns at the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I think it's like Graham said. I think it's awesome to see Keaton growing as a quarterback, because I remember last year we barely got we barely had Keaton check out of stuff as receivers. He only did it a few times in the season, and this year you really see him growing and really more confident as a quarterback, and he's taking control. Whatever he sees, if he likes, he's throwing it up to us on the outsides or changing the play whenever he can. So I think just as a receiver, knowing that your quarterback is seeing the defense and understanding it and telling you, he knows what he sees and go run it and has confidence in us. I mean, it feels awesome.
Ryan Abraham.
Amon-Ra, can you walk through that final touchdown catch? When did you know he was changing the play and checking it off to throw you a fade?
Yeah, so there was actually kind of a little miscommunication. It was actually supposed to be a run play, I remember looking back at the coaches to get the signal, and we had gone into a formation that we usually don't get into. Haven't gone into it all season. I think we might have gone into it one time. So I was a little confused. And then last minute, I looked at Keaton, and he told me to run a fade. And so that's when it was about like 2 seconds before the play. I ran the fade. He threw a great ball. Yeah, it was kind of funny.
Graham, you talked about, maybe having like a more generic game plan. Is it one of those things though? Can you, if you're in the first quarter, it's Oregon or Washington, can you make adjustments there, or halftime? Can you, knowing what you want to attack by the time you get to the game, can you make adjustments at that point?
I think you can always make adjustments. You're just not going to have as many, we, like I said, we basically do what we do. And usually going into each week, we'll have a couple ideas specific for a team, and based off of, coming off of things that we do. And we won't do that at halftime because we want to get reps in something if it's not something that we've done a ton of, And so I think that you can always make adjustments. You can always see how a team is trying to attack you and kind of get into what figure out what we do that can attack that best and get into those type of ideas. But, I think the biggest difference is, going into a game, if we have kind of some new thoughts or some thoughts like, hey, off of this, if we just tag one route or if we kind of do this off of something we do, it could be good. Well, that's what we'll do if we have a full week to prepare, if we know who we're playing, but we're not going to do that without getting a lot of reps on it or without getting practice on it, because that's just not fair to those guys, And so I think that that's probably the biggest difference. You can make in-game adjustments, just, hey, guys, we run whatever. Like, this would be good against them that we do. We're going to start getting into this. But we're not going to have, like, specific, things that we haven't ever worked on. We're not going to try to dial them up in the middle of the game because, again, you're not putting, in my opinion, you're not putting those guys in a position to be successful because they don't have any reps in it.
Okay, Antonio.
Graham, you guys are obviously preparing for 2 teams this week. From an assistant's perspective, what's it like balancing working recruiting as the early signing period's coming on Wednesday? What's it been like balancing that with it too?
Yeah, it's a heck of a week, but it's I guess just part of the job. Honestly, we've had back-to-back short weeks, playing on a Sunday and then a Saturday, put you on a short week, and then playing from a Saturday to a Friday, put you on another short week, and not knowing an opponent, and then having signing day on top of it. I think the most important thing is hopefully those kids are getting rest. Obviously for coaches, you don't get a lot of sleep during that week, and it's going to be some long days and stuff like that. But as a coach, obviously we don't have to go physically perform on the game day. So at the end of the day, we'll find a way to be all right. Where those kids, I think, is for the most importantly, it's going to be, we got to make sure that on back-to-back short weeks that, our players are fresh, our players are healthy. They're getting plenty of rest, but still getting the work they need to be able to perform come Friday. And so from a coach's perspective, it obviously makes for long days and long nights. But, again, that's kind of part of the job. I think the most important thing is to make sure those kids are fresh. The kids are ready to go, and they're, like I said, they understand what we're trying to do. We get them the reps to let them be successful, but also allow them to get their bodies back.
Shotgun.
Graham, last week, much concern with the run game. How important was it to get it going after struggling the last 2 games, though?
I think y'all look at that a lot more than I do, to be honest with you. So I think over the last few weeks, we're always going to try to do what we got to do to win football games, And so I think that getting that going obviously helps the cause. It's something that we want to do. We want to run the ball at a high level. We have good players right there. I think that Bai's, like I said, a really, really good football player. I think the most important thing is to do whatever we got to do to win football games. And if that's run the ball every single snap, then we'll run the ball every snap. If they're going to load the box like Washington State did and try to stop the run and be vulnerable on the perimeter, then we're going to attack them there. And so, I think that the key is do whatever we got to do to give ourselves the best chance to win. And that's what we've tried to do each week. Last week, I think, against UCLA, they did a nice job mixing it up. But I thought that, going in, we thought, hey, if they play soft coverage, we can really run the ball at an effective level. And I was glad to see us do that. Like I said, I think I don't know what his exact numbers were, but was averaging over 5 yards a carry. And if we can get a guy averaging over 5 yards a carry, that's really going to help the offense. That's going to put us in a position to be successful, and it's going to help everyone out, to be honest with you. And it doesn't allow them to, I think some teams, to be honest with you, I was surprised the way Washington State played us. I figured they'd come in and say, hey, we're going to dare these guys to run the football and not let those talented receivers beat us. That was my thought going in. And then they came in especially in the first half, they loaded the box and dared us to throw the football. And that's how you get a lot of points hung on you in a hurry. And I think UCLA did a nice job mixing it up. At times they tried to take some chances on the perimeter. And when they did, I thought Keaton did a good job recognizing and attacking them. And at times they tried to play really soft. And I thought that, up front with the run game and even those receivers on the perimeter, because if you look at a lot of the runs, we had Drake or all those receivers and kind of down in their tight positions and asking them to make big blocks. And they did a good job of that. And so running the ball effectively is always important for us. It makes us a much better football team. But at the end of the day, again, we're going to do whatever we do. We're going to try to attack them wherever they're the weakest and what gives us the best chance to win football games.
And then with the offense seems when it gets its back against the wall, it's when you guys are at your best. What goes into that mentality to make you guys be able to, put up the points in bunches when you get behind?
It's not ideal, obviously. We would like to not get behind. That would be the better situation. But I think that's one thing a place that we've really grown as an offense and really as an entire football team in the last 2 years since I've been here. And I know Amon-Ra could probably speak to this, and he's an example of it. But just how we've grown culturally, you know what I mean? And that's, I think that's just a sign of our culture. And I told him at halftime even, I think that in the second half, our culture is going to be exposed because we've talked about it so much and we've preached it so much. And the guys have bought in so much. There's never a sense of panic on the sideline. Those guys don't get worried and they just keep believing, and they keep pulling for each other. And I know that at times and on different teams and probably even last year at times when things go bad or if things aren't going our way early, there's going to be some finger pointing. There's probably going to be some complaining, some things on the sideline that don't give you a chance to go win the football game. Where this year there isn't any of that. And I think that I honestly really do think that that's been our biggest difference. And I love what we do offensively and I believe in it. But at the end of the day, I tell our guys all the time, we could run the triple option, we could run the the wishbone, or we could spread it out and try to throw it every down. It doesn't really matter if we are culturally, if we're all pulling the rope in the same direction. Really, what the plays don't matter. We're going to be successful because of the guys we have and what we're doing culturally. And so that's what we try to preach to them. I try to tell them that all the time. And like I said, I think that's how we've been able to be successful late in games is because those guys believe it. They've bought in and they never blink. And, I think Amon-Ra is a great example of it. We talk about being selfless, tough, and disciplined. And our definition of tough is to overcome adversity with a great attitude, great effort. And on third down, that one third down play, Amon-Ra maybe had his only drop of the season and he gets tipped up and he throws an interception. And I know he's mad at himself. And I think at times on certain teams and maybe even last year, people kind of gripe or complain or aren't able to come out of that. And from what I understood, nobody blinked. And then when we needed him the most, he makes the game-winning touchdown for us. And I think that's just an example of our guys believing, buying into what we've talked about since day one that we've been here, being tough. And when you face adversity, that's what gives you a chance to overcome it. And that's what, like I said, the team did. But, on an individual basis, that's a great example of it with Amon-Ra the other night in the second half.
Amon, do you want to play off of that and talk about the ability to come back and get through adversity?
Yeah, I think, piggybacking off what he said, I think our culture is something that really helped us when that game last week. If you look at our, having came back now for the third time this season, I think it's huge for us as a team. I think we don't go into any game, thinking we never have a shot, even if we're down. Like Graham said in that UCLA game at halftime, we got in the locker room and Graham told us, our coaches is what's going to help us win this game. And we went out there, we scored a few points, and I remember UCLA scoring again, and it was going to be on us on the offense to win the game, and we went out there and made plays, and I remember dropping that post like he said, and everyone came to the sideline and told me, don't worry about it, we got them. And we went out there and kept playing and won the game. So I think just as a team, it shows us how strong we are, how much we've grown from last year. I think you guys can see it. I hear people telling me all the time, you guys come back all the time. It's crazy how you guys do it. How do you guys do it? I think as a team, we just believe, we trust in each other, we believe in our coaches, and we know we can get the job done. So that's the biggest thing.
We have time for one quick question. We have to let the guys go in about 3 minutes. Greg Beecham, we'll give you the last one.
Hey, Amon-Ra, can you tell us a little bit about how the guys are handling the challenges of this week, not knowing exactly who you're going to play, and also, your second straight week of short rest, and what would a Pac-12 championship mean after everything you've accomplished this year and the circumstances in which you have to try to win it?
Yeah, having come from not having a season at all to being in a Pac-12 championship is awesome. This is my first Pac-12 championship, so I'm really excited to finally participate in this game. But like you said, not knowing who we're going to play, I think our coaches make it easy for us. I think it's harder on them than it is for us. They're obviously making the game plan, doing all the hard work. So I think for us, we just go out there and listen to our coaches and do what they say, and I think we'll be just fine. Obviously we might play Oregon, we might be Washington, we don't know yet, but I think if we just go out there as an offense and even as a team and execute what we do, I think we'll be fine. Obviously, there's wrinkles into the game plan with each team, but like I said, I think our coaches are going to do a great job of preparing us, and I think we'll be fine.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to have to cut it there. Amon and Graham, thank you very much for joining us. We'll let you go. A reminder to the media, tomorrow at 8 a.m. we'll have our defense coordinator, Todd Orlando, along with Talanoa Hufanga and Marlon Tuipolotu. And then on Wednesday, which is signing day, we're going to do Coach Helton at noon, a little bit later than our normal time. And that'll be it for this week. So with that, thank you very much for joining us. Have a great day.